So when you think of car care, what do you spend the most time doing? Is it polishing? Are you spending all kinds of time polishing out scratches? Is it ceramic coating? No. The thing that you do the most in your car care regimen, like me, is washing. I'm gonna show you a step-by-step process to keeping your car perfect. Before we go washing our car, we wanna make sure that we've got the drying program identified. Do I have my air cannon? Is it plugged in? Is it ready to go? Do I have my drying towels? Are they clean? Are they ready to go? Do I have my detail spray ready to go for a drying aid? Now, I'm at the perfect time of day. This afternoon, we did the wheels, the tires, the engine compartment. Now this afternoon, it's dropped probably 15, maybe 20 degrees. It's so nice now. Now it's time to go ahead and do it. The process that we're about to use is more important than the products we're going to use. You want to eliminate redundancies and you want to make sure that your process is spot on so that you get excellent results using the simplest system and wasting no time. So I've already gone ahead and filled each of these buckets about halfway with clean water, okay? I've got 2 of the wash pads rather. These wash pads are absolutely my favorite. They do very safely remove dirt and crud from your car. Now, the 2-bucket method that I have set up right here, I'm gonna leave 1 bucket, just clean water. I'm gonna put these wash pads with a little bit of my favorite soap, our car shampoo, the original, the easy, with a little bit of soap. Now, when you're washing your vehicle, where do you want your soap? Do you want your soap in the bucket or do you want your soap on your wash pad? Well, I'm gonna answer that question for you. You want your soap on your wash pad, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the wash pad, set them both in there. Then in my pressure washer, I was gonna make some suds. Awesome. Now, it's time to pull the little tip off of my pressure washer. I wanna set it somewhere where it's very easy to find, okay? A lot of times I'll put it in my back pocket. Then, time to grab on to our foam cannon. What a wonderful tool the foam cannon is. First, I'm gonna fill the canister up with water. All right, so I'm about 3/4 filled on this guy, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use a little different soap for this guy. This is the Mega Foam. It is a very high suds soap. How much did I use? Maybe 1/8 of a bottle, okay? Why do we want to go ahead and foam this thing down? 1, it neutralizes all the minerals in your water. 2, it makes it so that when you come to wash later, reduces the scratching and makes it so that it is even less likely for you to cause damage while you're washing it. Now, I'm looking at this thing right now and I'm thinking, you know what? This vehicle with this much dust and nastiness on it, I'm changing my mind. I'm taking this guy back off. I'm gonna go back to the pressure washer. I wanna blow some of the dirt that's on this vehicle off. All right, now we've knocked down a lot of the dirt that was on that finish. Again, pulling off the nozzle, back pocket with that. I'm gonna go ahead and go back with the foam cannon. So right now, I've got hard water on this vehicle. So I wanna be as quick as possible about getting the foam onto this thing, and I wanna make sure that I foam the parts of the vehicle that are facing the sun the quickest. That'll neutralize any of the minerals in your water causing water spots. So you see why I like the Mega Suds? That is seriously Mega Suds, isn't it? So off with this guy, I'm gonna be listening very carefully for this sound right now. Click, okay? This becomes a projectile if I don't click it all the way onto the pressure washer. So important to know that. I have damaged cars. Pop, boom, oh, don't be that guy. With all these suds on this vehicle right now, you're safe. You're safe to go check the area they're gonna pull the car in. Are my towels good? Are they 100%? Right now I've got a safety layer of suds on this thing. Now, if I know I'm ready to go, then time to wash it. And there's no time better than the late afternoon for washing, except maybe early morning, but then it's usually chilly. So I love a late afternoon car wash. If I could make every day end cleaning one of our cars, that's a good day. So I've just washed about 3 panels. And at this point, oh yeah, I've got some dirt on this, okay? So my sudsy water is here, clean water's here. I'm gonna go ahead and dunk this in my second bucket, and I'm gonna rub it around this little thing that I've got sitting in the bottom of the bucket called a grit guard. Why do I want to use a grit guard? This grit guard has these little fins that are convex, like the bottom of the bucket. These little fins keep the water from circulating in the bottom of the bucket. When I rub the wash pad over the grate in the bottom of the bucket, all the dirt comes out of the wash pad and sinks to the bottom of the bucket where all the water stays perfectly stagnant. That makes it so that I have a clean wash pad that's very, very unlikely to do any scratching or damage to the car that I'm washing. Ba-bam, ba-bam. Dunk this guy down deep in the suds, grab the second wash pad, and boom, keep going. Pulled this nice little bird poop off the roof. This is exactly the thing that you don't want to rub the rest of the car down with. Bottom of my dirty bucket here, rinsey rinse, scrubbity scrub, and go. Now, the process that you use, must I do the top first? Must I do the sides first? Must I do the underside last? Must I do whatever? Listen, not a lot of people die from car care, okay? There's not a lot of car care associated death. This is not a life or death thing. If you're using a process that really keeps it safe, that you're gonna have minimal scratching and minimal damage happening to your car, wash the top first. Wash the sides first. More importantly for me is wash the parts that are directly facing the sun first, because what you're gonna end up with is you're gonna end up with less potential for water spots. Use that foam to be your friend. Make sure that you're getting all of the benefits of a nice sudsy wash pad, minimal damage. 2-bucket wash is gonna keep you good. But you don't need to fret and freak out and worry about it. People are like, oh, my car's ceramic coated, I only can use a certain soap. If your car's ceramic coated, you can use whatever soap you feel like using. Okay, so now I've got the sun over there, which means the warmest panels, the panels that'll dry the quickest are this panel and this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse those 2 last, and I'll go ahead and rinse everything else in the shade first because less likely to get water spots. All right, so now I've been thinking while I've been rinsing, is it okay out here for me to go ahead and finish drying the car outside? If the temperatures are, I'd say somewhere like 70 or less, I'm gonna leave the vehicle right where it is and dry it out here. If it's getting warmer than that, or if it's still that warm in the afternoon, make sure that you get this vehicle into the shade. You'll have way less chance of water spotting. Detail spray has so many awesome uses. One of them is a drying aid, and it also stops water spots. So if I go ahead and go around this vehicle with a detail spray and just give it a light mist all the way around it, this is going to ensure that I don't get water spots. You notice I'm moving the bottle as I pull the trigger. That's important. If I sit in one spot and go like this, that's not going to help my drying. It's not going to aid anything. It's just going to make it be one little spot that I have to wipe extra later. So a very light, fine mist around the whole vehicle. And then after doing that with the detail spray, then I want to go ahead and take the blower and blow some of the water out of all of the areas where I know it's going to pool. Where's water going to hang out? It's going to hang out in the lug sockets. It's going to hang out around these rear windows, the rear bumper, the rear window. It's going to hang out at all of those spots. So let's go ahead and take our air cannon and go ahead and kick it on. So I've noticed that it's taking me a little bit too long to go around and blow the vehicle down. I also, our cannon has heated air, so it really dries the vehicle quickly. So I think what I've done is I've over dried the vehicle, and now I'll have to use a lot of detail spray to go ahead and do it, or I could use this trick real quick to reintroduce just a little bit of water to make it a little bit easier to dry. Quick mist, only a quick mist. Now this is the greatest drying towel I've ever known to exist. We call it the Ultra Plush drying towel. It's this big, and it is absolutely fabulous. If you're drying this car without an air cannon, you're gonna use 2 of these towels. If you are drying it with, easily one's gonna do it, and look at how perfect it dries. Oh, I love that. If you come across a spot that looks like it needs a little bit of detail spray, you can see right here where I blasted off, I have water spots now. This was the spot that was facing most directly the sun. So now I'm gonna go ahead, grab a little bit of detail spray and come back over. I'm basically re-wetting that entire part of the vehicle. I'm gonna come back over with a drying towel, just get all those water spots to come off. All right, so here we have a very important step, the door jambs. If I don't get the door jambs wiped out, then I'm gonna have crazy water spots later. If I have a nasty door jambs, in other words, if I've been driving in the snow, the mud, or the rain, have a lot of dirt, I'll take the pressure washer and just do a quick and just blast off, keeping obviously the majority of the water in the door jamb and not inside the car. But you can use that and you can really control where the pressure washer goes to be able to knock that dirt out of those door jambs. These door jambs are pretty clean. However, up here on the B pillar, it got a little water spotty. So, little detail spray. So what you're looking at right here is the single most important tool that you can use to clean your car. This particular pressure washer, one of the things that are great about it is you use it, turns on, let it go, it turns off. That's awesome for you and your neighbors. It's quiet. 1800 PSI is more than enough to take all the dirt off your car with less scratching. Now, when you go ahead and remove dirt from your car with a pressure washer, what it does is it requires less scrubbing later with a wash pad or a wash mitt. Scrubbing is scratching. Now, when you go to clean your wheels and tires, now talk about critical, pressure washer can remove way more brake dust than your garden hose. So if you're gonna take any one product and make sure and give it absolutely critical status, a pressure washer is the one. Do you need the most expensive one in the world? No. There's pressure washers for every budget. Our Pro Series is probably one of the best ones you can get. Love the fact that it'll actually turn on and turn off every time you use it. This way you're not hearing the motor constantly running. The other thing I love about this, wall mount. I have one of these wall mounted in the garage. It makes the setup and breakdown process so much quicker. It's absolutely a fabulous way to regularly wash and dry your cars without all that time being wasted setting up and breaking down. Now this tool also has an adjustment so that if you wanted to go ahead and increase or decrease the pressure, you could. If you've got some edges maybe lifting on your clear film, you can go ahead and turn the pressure way down and that'll give you the ability to have less pressure. Now, there are several tips on here. The white tip, I believe that's a 40-degree tip. And what that does, that gives you just the right amount of spray, just the right amount of V, so that you can really be effectively removing dirt and grime and brake dust from your car without the potential of doing any harm. One of the things you want to remember about pressure washers, if you keep them 24 inches away from the finish, you're going to be good. If you get right up on, let's say, a dead bug that's stuck on the front and there's a couple chips right around it, you get right up to it and you start blasting it really hard right at where you have a chip, something like that could potentially cause damage. You keep it at 24 inches, you're not going to damage your car using a pressure washer.